of the things that makes Istanbul beautiful is its history. So, this is the top 6 things to see in Istanbul that were built by the Romans. In no order, and make sure to stick to the end as I have 2 additional spots and hopefully you're going to learn some history by the end of this video. Before we start, let's throw in some of history. The Romans had a huge empire that dates back to 753 BC. They had many capitals. The most recognized is, of course, Rome. But there was another contender that stole the fame from Rome. So, which city is that? This brings us to number 1 on the list. Technically, Istanbul was the capital of the Roman Empire, more specifically the Eastern Roman Empire. Of course, the city borders and size have changed to meet the city population, and so did the name change as well.
The Column of Constantine was erected in 330 AD when the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great announced the new capital of the Roman Empire as Nova Rome, which means New Rome. So the capital was moved from Rome to here. The city was known back then as Byzantium City, but Constantine of course had to change the name of the city to match his name, so it became Constantinople.
Number 2 is Basilica Cistern. Unfortunately, they were renovating the place so it's darker than usual, which made it a little bit harder for me to film as I don't have a Sony A7, but the place was still worth it.
Built in the 6th century by the Roman Emperor Justinian the Great. This underground water reserve is capable of holding 80,000 cubic meters of water. That's a lot of water. Imagine 80 million bottles of 1 liter water, which is the population of Turkey, around 80 million. There are 336 columns support the ceiling. One of them is unique and known as the Crying Pillar as it appears wet. It is said that it has been built in the memory of hundreds of slaves who lost their lives in the construction of the Basilica Cistern. Some history books estimate that around 7,000 slaves built this place. It has a hole where they say if you place your thumb and spin all the way, your wish comes true. Then there are the heads of Medusa. In Greek mythology, this woman is a monster. There are a couple of myths, but the most famous one is perhaps that she had venomous snakes instead of hair.
Don't look her in the eyes or you're gonna turn into a snake.
Maybe that's why she's placed upside down. Who knows?
Number 3 is the Hippodrome. The Romans used this arena for chariot racing, which is basically horse racing, and other social events such as ceremonies. Later in the Ottoman era, the Ottomans destroyed the arena. Today this area is known as Sultan Ahmed Square, but there are some remains that still are found there, so make sure not to miss them.
The Greeks created this column to celebrate their win in the Battle of Plataea against the Persians. According to some historians, the bronze of the column is made out of the Persian weapons that was melted in order to construct this column. Constantine the Great later ordered this column to be moved from Delphi in Greece all the way to Constantinople. Then there is the Egyptian obelisk, arguably the oldest monument in all of Istanbul. It was first erected in the Temple of Karnak in Egypt around 15 BC. That's around 3,450 years ago. Constantius II ordered 2 obelisks to be moved. One was transported to Rome. You can still find it there, known as Lateran Obelisk. The second one was late on arrival until Emperor Theodosius made sure it was transported to Constantinople, aka Istanbul.
This amazing building behind me was built 3 times in the same location. First it was built in the 4th century as a large church, but then was destroyed in riots. The second time was the 5th century, but destroyed again in riots. And then finally, the 6th century, it was built as we know it today as the Hagia Sophia.
It was first built as a holy church serving the Eastern Roman Empire. This dome is actually the second dome. The first dome was at 131 feet but collapsed after an earthquake, but then rebuilt with a higher height of 182 feet. The wishing column was rumored in the Eastern Roman Empire to have healing power, as it's said that Emperor Justinian had a headache one day, and when he leaned his head to the column, he noticed that the headache was gone. It was Tuesday, 1453, when the Ottomans took over Constantinople. There were no mosques in the city, so they had the first Friday prayer in the Hagia Sophia, where since the church was converted to a mosque and they changed the name to Hagia Sophia. Today the place is a museum. The ticket price is 40 Turkish liras.
Aqueducts are one of the many inventions that were created by the Romans. Now you see them all over the world, and Istanbul has really awesome aqueduct that you should definitely see.
The Valens Aqueduct was built in the 4th century by the Roman Empire Valens. This water system reached a total length of 250 kilometers, making it one of the longest water systems in the world. Today the remains of the aqueduct beautifully decorate the city, where you see locals relaxing underneath shade, along with many restaurants. I recommend you enjoy dinner in one of those restaurants, as the aqueduct is lit beautifully in the night and it will surely be one of your favorite Instagram pictures in the city.
Number 6 is the Galata area. I recommend two things there if you are in a hurry: the Galata Tower and the Galata Bridge, as they are both near each other. First, the Galata Tower.
In Turkish, it is Galata Kulisi, not Kalisi. You can climb this 67-meter tower, which might not sound very tall, but it was actually the tallest tower in Constantinople when it was first constructed in 1348 AD. On the top, you can enjoy a really beautiful view of the city, especially during sunset. Make sure if you want to see the sunset there, you arrive at least 1 hour before, because you might wait in line for 20 to 30 minutes.
So if you finish from the Galata Tower, don't miss out the chance to walk across the Galata Bridge, as it has amazing view, and of course the best thing is you can enjoy the amazing breeze.
The bridge is interesting because the idea of a bridge across the Golden Horn of Turkey came long time ago, when even Leonardo da Vinci designed a bridge, but for technical difficulties was not completed. Then an invitation was sent to build a bridge to another Italian genius, Michelangelo, but he refused the proposal. Then many Galata bridges were built and changed, but the final one we see here today is known as the modern Galata Bridge, where it has many restaurants and cafes below it, and it spans the Golden Horn of Turkey.
Alright guys, as I promised you, the two additional things are Chora Museum. The building you see today is not the original one. It was reconstructed at least 5 times. Many of the buildings in Istanbul apparently get destroyed but reconstructed again.
Now, I didn't have time to go to the Chora Museum, but if you do go there, it is a great building complex in the Eastern Roman Empire period. It was dedicated to Jesus Christ. The Column of Marcian. This column is to honor Emperor Marcian during the period of around early 450s AD. What's impressive about this 10-meter column is that it's made of granite, especially red-gray granite that came all the way from Siam, which is Aswan in Egypt.
And these are the kids of the neighborhood. So if you come here, they're going to welcome you as well.
Now remember that I did not include the typical tourist places like the Grand Bazaar, the mosques, because these are not built by the Romans or the Roman period. So this video is strictly for the Roman period. And if you like this video, let me know, and maybe I'll do another one in the future for the Ottomans, for things that were built in the Ottoman period. Thank you guys for watching this. Please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Have an amazing day or have an amazing night wherever you are. Love you guys.